Hi everyone. So today I'm going to show you a brief demo on how we can maximize generative AI using Google Gemini on use cases like procurement and supply chain management. Now, as we can see, this is Google Gemini. I'm currently using the Pro version or the Gemini Advanced. Now, just to briefly discuss what generative AI is, this is basically a subset of artificial intelligence where the AI model can generate contents like text, codes, images, videos, and even audio. Now, in order for these contents to be optimal, so it's very important for us to consider that we need to learn prompt engineering. Now, just a brief background about prompt engineering. Prompt engineering is the art and science of crafting instruction using natural language. Now, similar to what software engineers or coders do is basically they craft instruction. The only difference is in prompt engineering, you are crafting instructions using natural language, while software engineers or for coding, coders or software engineers craft instruction using codes or syntax in which the machine can understand. Now, I'm going to actually um, briefly discuss these key components of effective prompts. So, the first thing we need to keep in mind is we need to be specific. So, what it means is it clearly defines the task or question you want the AI to address. You need to make sure you avoid vague or ambiguous language. Next, provide context. Let's say, give the AI relevant background information to understand the context of your request. Tone also matters. Why? Because it sets the appropriate tone for the AI's response, whether it's formal, informal, or technical. Another thing is we need to make sure to provide examples. Examples like we need to make sure to illustrate the desired output format or even the style. Next is since this is something that is not a one-shot thing, so we have to keep in mind that experimentation, test, and refinement also comes into play. So you don't have to be afraid to try different prompts and then refine them based on the AI's responses so you can get the best result possible. Also, know or understand your audience. Tailor your prompts to the intended audience, considering their level of understanding and expertise. Clarity is the key. Use clear and concise language, avoid jargons or complex terminologies. Next is structure helps. Organize your prompts in a logical and structured manner to facilitate comprehension. Next is use a reliability check. Incorporate mechanisms to verify the accuracy and reliability of AI generated content. Okay, so there are a few prompt engineering frameworks, so there's a lot. There is actually what we call um, a zero shot prompting, a few shot prompting, chain of thought prompting, and there's what we call a React framework. But some of the easiest to use are what we call the RTF format, which is the role, task, and format. For role, basically, you just have to define the role of the AI model. So, for example, you want the AI model to act as a project manager or a data analyst. Next is ensure to define the task. So you need to make sure that the AI model clearly understands the task you want it to perform. Next is the format. You just need to specify the desired format for the AI's response. Let's say you want the AI model to rewrite this proper section into bullet points, table, or even format. Next is the create framework. So this is kind of a little bit complex. So what's important for the create framework is to make sure that you have all the context. Although I understand that one of the um, best components when it comes to effective prompts is clarity. Let's say avoiding jargons. Although there are times that if you are currently using your domain specific expertise or knowledge, sometimes you may need to use specific jargon. But if you're going to use jargon, you need to make sure to clearly specify exactly what that specific jargon is, including its nuances or even it whatever the difference is. Okay, now first let's start with character. You need to make sure that You define the AI's role in the conversation. Next is request. Precisely state the AI's tasks. Next is example. Provide examples or context to guide the AI model so it can better understand, let's say, the nuances or the difference. And then adjustments. It refines the AI's tasks and adds any constraint or specific requirements. Let's say, only use words a fifth grader would understand, or the summary should be no more than 3 sentences. So basically, you're just being specific. Next is the type of output. Specify the desired format for the AI's response. Example, a bulleted list, a comparison table, or a concise summary, or a formal email. Next is example. So review the summary and check if it includes the project's current budget status and an updated timeline. Score the output on a scale of 1 to 5 for completeness against these two criteria. Okay, now I'm going to show you some use cases on how we can actually automate or at least semi-automate tasks and apply prompt engineering techniques to the use case of procurement and supply chain. I already prepared some sample training materials here, like the sample compliant supplier contract, the sample non-compliant supplier contract, this sample supplier guidelines. So just keep in mind that the company is actually fictitious, so it means it's not real. This is just used for training purposes. And then what we're going to do is, the first thing we're going to do is to show you how to build a custom AI assistant in Gemini, which is called GEMS. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is you have to go to gemini.google.com, and then this one, click expand menu, and then click explore gems, and then click new gems, and then you will see this new gem. All you have to do is to give the name of the uh, custom AI assistant you want to build, and then the description, and then the prompt instruction. And then also, if you or your organization is very specific when it comes to instruction, you could also attach documents. Either you can upload a document from Google Drive or upload it from your device. So the purpose of this knowledge is you can use it as a source of truth. Now, what's the purpose of this right-hand corner? Now, this is for the preview. So this is for developers, this is what they called a sandbox environment. A sandbox environment is a section it is a way for developers to test if the function or feature they're trying to build or optimize is working as expected or not. Okay, so I'm going to actually show you the one that I've already built. Okay, so this is what we call the contract analysis and risk review agent for Zaldy and Company. Okay, now let me just show you this function so you can share these gems, whether within your organization or another user. And then you have the option to, let's say, edit this. You can just copy the link, or if you want, just you just want yourself to have access to it, make sure that it isn't restricted, or you can actually share this within your organization. Okay, so if you wanted to edit your custom AI assistant, which is called GEMS, you can just make sure to click this. Okay, now this content, I'm actually going to show you this document. Okay, so this is the entire, let me just push this. So this is the entire content of the custom AI assistants. As we can see, it provides the character, the request, examples, adjustments, and the type of output as well. So it also provides a reminder. The attached Zaldy and Company for Vendor Contract Review Approval and Audit Guide is essential to your function. So this document is actually referring to this knowledge. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to test this document. So what we're just going to simply do is upload this document here. So This is actually the test environment. We can actually show this for training purposes. And then we're going to try to upload a sample document. Let's say we want to review this sample document for testing purposes. So I'm going to use Google Drive. Okay, so for this one, since we already have the custom AI assistant, we're just going to ask Gemini, can you review the attached contract to determine if this is compliant or not? Okay, if you notice, I didn't even like expounded the question. It's simply because I've already pre-built these instructions, which includes the necessary guardrails, the additional instructions. So all for this one, this is just for test purposes. We're going to use this, so you have the option whether you wanted to use the Gemini 2.5 Flash or 2.5 Pro. So the purpose of these AI models, so for example, if you're just asking like, or just let's say asking Gemini to do simple or let's say easier task, you can just choose this AI model. So let's say if you wanted Gemini to do more complex tasks like coding or let's say building like a complex structured framework, then you can just use the 2.5 Pro. But remember that the more powerful the AI model that you're choosing, it is consuming more tokens. So which means that especially if you're using the free version of Gemini, so most likely you may not be able to maximize all of the tokens, or most likely it will revert back to the regular version. Okay, so for demo purposes, I'm going to just show and use the Gemini 2.5 Flash. Okay, so it's actually showing us the analysis. So it says here, I have reviewed the attached Zaldy and Company for vendor contract review, audit, and audit guide, and will now evaluate sample non-compliant supplier contract training document. Okay, it says here it's giving us the executive summary, the overall risk rating, clause extraction. So it's giving us like a table, and then also if we scroll down, it says here, saying that there are missing or non-compliant clauses. So it says here vague scope of work, and then risk assessment, and then recommended actions. Okay, so applying human in the loop, so which means human in the loop means that you are on top of the AI's decision. So as a human being, you're making sure that regardless of the output of the AI model, you're making sure that you have the capacity and the autonomy to make decisions, whether you think that the AI model's responses works as expected or not, so that you can make the necessary actions or corrections. Okay, now it's actually even asking, would you like me to generate a template for a full list of required clauses? So it's up to you if you want it a yes or no. So actually the good thing about these AI models right now, it's getting smarter over time. So it's like you already have an assistant if it's already proactively giving you helping you make the necessary decisions, but it doesn't mean that it can make decisions on your behalf because it still requires human element, which requires critical thinking and human-centered collaboration. Okay, so as we can see, it generated the required clause for templates. So we can see the change. So this is actually redirecting us to the document, which is this one. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and explore some of these quick features, but just for demo purposes, we're going to go to the actual live version of the Gemini GEMS. As you can see, this is the recent chat. This is what we've actually chatted earlier. What I'm going to do is, let me just go back to this chat. I'll ask the same question, but we're going to use a different document. Okay, using the same question, let's try this document. Okay, let's copy. And then it's up to you if you wanted to, if the file or the document is from your device, you can just click upload device or add from Google Drive. Okay, so let's go ahead and click this. And then we'll just use Gemini Flash for now. And then it's giving us the analysis. It says here, I have reviewed the attached Zaldy and Company for vendor contract review and approval and audit. So it's actually giving us like its thought process of what it's doing right now. So it's giving us the executive summary, and then the clause extraction. It's saying here that the following key clauses are extracted and referenced against Zaldy and Company for vendor contract review. So what it means that Gemini is trying to compare the document we've uploaded versus the guideline and also the knowledge we have on the Gemini GEMS, which is Gemini's AI assistant that we just built. Okay, so it's saying here like pricing and payment terms. Pricing is per Annex A detailed pricing, yada yada yada. And then it says here missing or non-compliant clause. It says here contract is highly comprehensive, resulting in one area of minor non-compliance. And then risk assessment. It's saying us that rating is low, financial is low, legal is low, quality is low. So it says here contract defines a clear low defect rate threshold, which is it's actually giving us like an actionable data. And it's already giving us the recommended corrections. So to fully align the contract with Zaldin Company for vendor contracts review, approval, and audit guide, the following clauses should be added or modified. So it's giving us like the recommendation. And then it's also saying supplier shall indemnify, defend, and hold harmless Zaldin Company, yada, yada, yada. And then it's giving us the section of this document. And then it's saying here manager ready summary, the part supply and repairs. And then it's even asking us, would you like me to draft a memo to the legal department recommending these two specific action clause? We can say yes. So would you imagine that for hours and days that you're reviewing contracts, you can just actually review a single contract in less than 10 minutes because of the power of generative AI. And then it's saying here memo to legal department recommending contract adjustment. And then it's asking us to, would you like me to create a summary compliance metrics? Well, you have to determine whether you need this or not. So again, you use human in the loop to ensure that you have the opportunity to use your best judgment. Okay, so that's all for this quick demo, and I hope you've learned a lot from this one. So thank you very much.